Hi guys, Brian here from Sydney Back Pain Program. So in this video I'm going to give you some ideas and tips to deal with either having a sort of very rounded posture, or you're starting to get sort of tight niggles in your shoulders. Maybe even you're starting to lose grip a little bit in one hand and it feels a bit tight sort of around the elbow. Usually it's because everything's kind of rotated in, your body's trying to correct it for you, and it's kind of causing problems sort of down the arm, whereas sort of the source of it's from here. Obviously, sort of reasons why. Generally, most people now, because of the way work is, we're either sat at a desk, or even worse, when we're commuting or at home, we're looking downwards at a phone. So we're always kind of in this position with things internally rotated. So we've got to try and balance things and go back the other way. So part of what we'll look at is loosening up your thoracic, your upper back, because that helps just general sort of relaxation. But that's kind of the key to getting good posture. And I'll show you 3 different exercises to help correct that forward shoulder posture. It's not only stretching the tight stuff, but also strengthening the actual muscles that kind of pull you back and help reset everything, and all help restore shoulder movement and get rid of those sort of gripes and aches and pains that you get. Obviously these exercises are not going to work for everybody, but for most people these are a good starting point. Also, if you've got sharp pains, it's really angry, you're probably better off seeing a good physio first of all before you start these. But for most people at the point where it's just a little bit tight, a little bit kind of, you just got a bit of a rounded posture, these should definitely help you. So give them a go. So the first exercise I'm going to do is a thoracic mobility exercise. So we're just trying to get a little bit of extra movement and try and restore some kind of ease of movement to the upper back. So what I've got here is we've got a foam roller. It's a fairly stiff one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it horizontal on the floor, and then I'm going to line it so it's in line with the bottom of my shoulder blades. So about here somewhere. I'm going to take my hands behind my head, make sure my bum's on the floor so I'm well supported. Take a deep breath in. Relax and let the air out. And as I let the air out, I just sort of let myself relax and gently stretch and just sort of drop towards the floor. I'm not trying to crank myself and go too far, just sort of relax into it. And then I come back up, deep breath in. Let the air out. Gently relax over. Maybe a little bit further this time. And then come up. And I've done a couple there. I'll go sort of the next section up. So move up slightly. Deep breath in. Again, let the air out. Just gently relax. Back and in like that. And again. So the key with this one is to be nice and relaxed, and even when I come up, I'm not trying to do like a sit-up and crunch myself up. I just sort of move up just enough to take the stretch off, and then deep breath in again, and then just sort of very gently relax. The key with this one is to be relaxed and to not try and force stuff. So don't try and overstretch or come up too tight on the way up. Just be as relaxed and as controlled as you can. This one's a great one to do if you've been sat down in office all day. You get home from work at night. It's a great one just to help you unwind in the evening and sort of relax, as well as obviously working on your posture. In terms of your sort of helping your shoulders and your neck, a tight thoracic upper back can definitely contribute to making those shoulders and neck stiff. So I think for most people the first port of call should always be to try and get a little bit more movement and just try and restore that natural posture in a nice gentle way, just by stretching over a roller. And like I say, it's a good relaxing tool as well. But definitely your first port of call or first step is to do this before we start doing your exercises with weights and sort of movement. So now we've stretched out and mobilised the upper back, now we can start doing some work on the actual muscles as well. So my favourite place to start, if people have tight shoulders and neck, is actually try and give the chest a bit of a stretch. So the way we do that is with a modified dumbbell fly. So normally with a fly you would start in this position and you kind of open up and squeeze back again. What we're going to do, we're going to change the angle slightly. So we're going to rotate inwards a little bit. So our starting position is like this. Slight bend in the elbows, so draw the elbows down. As we open up and stretch the chest, we bring the elbows towards our ears, or in line with our ears. Once we get the biggest stretch we can, then we're going to rotate outwards to get a little bit extra stretch from the pecs, then back in, and squeeze in nice and smooth. So the key with this one is nice, smooth control. About 3 to 4 seconds on the way down, and just nice and smooth with the twist at the bottom. And then coming back in. So from here we come down, Good stretch, rotate outwards, come back in, and then squeeze up nice and smooth. So the key with this one isn't big heavy weights. We're just using the weight as sort of like give us a bit of like an assisted stretch, like a resisted stretch. Probably no more than, I've got 3 kilos here. Probably no more than, for most people, at the very most, you might work your way up to maybe 8s at some stage. But for most people, just sort of 2 to 3 kilos as a start is a good point. And then we're looking at sort of 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. And the goal is nice, smooth stretches. You don't want to aggravate your shoulders or your connective tissue or your elbows. Smooth as you can. You open up as far as you can with as much control as possible. And don't try and force anything. Just sort of use the weight and the exercise to kind of encourage mobility and give that chest a nice, good, active stretch and get it to kind of loosen up. So we've loosened up the upper back, the thoracic. We've stretched the chest out and got some extra movement there. So now we need to look at the muscles that oppose the kind of the chest and the internal rotators, our external rotators. So the first 2 exercises I'm going to show you. There's loads of different ways you can work your external rotators. These are just going to be my 2 favourites, my sort of go-tos. So this one, the hardest thing about this one is actually getting into positions. If you've got stiff, tight hips, get yourself in the right position on the bench is probably going to be a little bit of a challenge. But if you stick with it, it's definitely worth it. So what we're going to do, we're going to sit on a bench sideways. I'm going to put my left leg facing at sort of 90 degrees, perpendicular to the bench. And I use my left hand for a bit of support here. The right leg then comes up to the side, and I'm going to rest my right tricep on top of my knee. So I'm trying to create sort of like a right angle with my legs. At the same time, I'm trying to keep my chest tall and facing forward, while the arm that I'm working doesn't want to be in front of me. I want to pull it back as much as I can to get it back in line where my leg is. Once you're in position, then what we're going to do from here, nice firm grip. About 3 to 4 seconds to rotate in as far as you feel comfortable. You want to try and avoid any clicks or sort of grabbing or sharp pains. So you just go as far as you can. Even if when you first start, it might be just to there and back up again. But if you can, work towards giving me a full rotation down and then squeezing back up like that. So about 3 to 4 seconds down, slow, controlled. About a second on the way up, nice and smooth. So you do about 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps on this one. I've got a 3 kilo here, so for most people probably the weight that you use for your chest on the exercise before is a good starting place. Again, you wouldn't really go super heavy with this ever at any point. Like if you work your way up from sort of 3s all the way up to like a 10 or maybe even a 12.5 kilo weight on this, you're doing really well. But the goal is just nice and smooth, and we're trying to get the muscles in the back of the shoulders start to burn. And that's basically the part of our muscles in our rotator cuff group. And we're trying to get them to work and get nice and strong so that they're strong enough to oppose getting tight in the front and that kind of hunch posture, which is what costs us our mobility and our strength in our shoulders. So if we can loosen up the thoracic and stretch out the chest to pull us back, and then strengthen the muscles in the rotator cuff, that's really going to open up our posture and give us back the range of motion and get rid of those sort of gripey, annoying kind of shoulder tightnesses, and pains that most people get. But this is the first one. So this is like a dumbbell external rotation on your knee, and I'll show you a second variation on the floor as well. So second variation for external rotators work, or your rotator cuff. Lying on your side, use just kind of your rest hand to sort of help support your head and your neck. We take the dumbbell here. Now the important bit with this one is the setup. So what we're trying to do is, if I'm working this right shoulder, I want to think about putting this right shoulder towards my left butt cheek. So it's kind of going diagonally across my back. So I'm sort of pulling down and in. And what that does is it helps squeeze on your lat. And kind of one of the good things about this exercise is not just are you working your external rotators, but you're also teaching your lat to help support your shoulder. Which again for a lot of people can be quite a bit of an issue. The lat isn't doing its job properly in helping sort of create shoulder stability. So with this exercise we can get external rotator work and we can get the lat to sort of strengthen up and help support the shoulder. So arm at 90, I pull that shoulder to the left butt cheek so I can feel my lat in the side of my upper back in here, squeeze on from here, and the same idea, just come up and about 2 to 3 seconds on the way down, just nice and smooth. So you might squeezing that lat and rotating that arm up and down under control. Again, same idea, you would do sort of 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12. So I think between this one and the exercise before, when your arm's on your knee, you're probably going to cover sort of 90% of what you need to in terms of external rotator work. I mean, obviously there's loads of other ways to do it, but these are my two favourites. And again, if you're nice and steady, you can really start to feel a burn inside the shoulder and just a little bit inside that lat up in here as well. Just nice and steady. I say between those, this one and the one before, that's going to cover most of your external rotator work. I say sort of 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12. Try and get that shoulder and that lat nice and warm, more sort of burning. It means you're definitely hitting the right spots. You've got the right workload as well. You haven't gone too heavy.